Rumors are that allegedly Andy Cohen is in more trouble at the network after he disrespected these two housewives. Who are the two housewives and what did he do? Well, I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly Andy is in more trouble with the network after he disrespected these two housewives. What did he say? And who were the two housewives? Well, I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more. And here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly the network has finally caved to pressure from fans to discipline Andy for his lack of respect towards housewives. What happened? A source said fan pressure had been mounting for quite some time to have Andy replaced at Bravo, but more specifically replaced as the reunion host for the Housewives franchise. The source continued, many Housewives fans saw him as being biased to certain housewives, which ruined his credibility with fans. The source elaborated, Andy has had his credibility called into question from the way he handled Erica Jane at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, to his lack of holding Giselle accountable at the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion, to him screaming unprofessionally at Teresa at the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion, and to him allowing Marlo to skate at last season's Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. So, with all those things, what is the recent thing that he did that was the last straw for fans and maybe even the network? Well, fans were left furious when Andy questioned whether or not Sheree had plastic surgery on her face, insinuating that she looked younger since the last time he saw her. Even Portia was embarrassed for Sheree and that question. There are simply some things you don't ask a lady publicly, ended the source. But it didn't end there. Another source said, questions allegedly about Portia's fertility were also cringeworthy, further showing fans and the network that Andy simply doesn't have clear boundaries with the housewives, which clearly causes major issues. Nene, for example. The source elaborated, when there are no clear boundaries, you tend to say and do things you probably shouldn't, which then becomes a big issue and comes back to bite you later down the road. And in Nene's case, in the form of a lawsuit, ended the source. All sources agree that Andy is constantly pushing the boundaries of respect with the housewives, and many are tired of it. Allegedly, there was a group of housewives from different franchises who band together to take their concerns to the network. However, after two of those ladies were let go, the rest of the group thought it was because of their efforts to get Andy under control by the network. The source says their suspicions were never proven accurate, but it was enough to scare them to be quiet and to back off of their mission, ended the source. Now, kinfolk, this is some information that's been coming into me since, I want to say since the season started with Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the reason why a lot of this has been coming to my attention from my sources is because of the way I feel like Marlo has been acting this season and the way that it has become apparent that the network is probably, or at least allegedly, still protecting her. But as always, we're going to take this rumor and we're going to break it up to some things I think can be factual and some things I think are not factual. But the first thing I want to talk about is Andy's time at the network and why I think his time is numbered. And it's because of this. A lot of my sources are telling me, kinfolk, that Andy's time at the network is numbered. They're telling me that it has been this way for about 2 years now. And it has a lot to do with, one, Andy appearing to be out of touch with fans. Now, a lot of this started to come about right after the pandemic, when we saw a lot of shift in society's thinking about the way women are treated and handled, and also presented on television and in public platforms. So with that being said, a lot of things changed from the first time Andy started his franchise of Real Housewives up until now. And my sources are saying that it looks like Andy has not made the mental pivot in the way society is thinking and feeling in the way in which women, especially women of color, should be handled on public platforms. So with that being said, that was strike one that Andy has against him and has had against him for quite some time. And fans started to call it out about 2 years ago. Now, my sources are saying that allegedly he was given the opportunity to kind of clean up his approach to handling the women of color. But my sources are saying that last season, it seems like he did a complete 180 and changed his stance when he allowed certain housewives to make blatant lies about each other and their families. So that kind of put him back at square one. The second thing that Andy also has growing against him, for what my sources are saying, and it's something that is much more personal in their eyesight, is this. My sources are saying that it really does look like that not only has Andy become out of touch with the Housewife universe, but also it seems as if he has just outgrown the entire Housewife platform. And a lot of people point to the reunions. Some sources are saying that there are some people who believe that it's not the fact that Andy doesn't want to or doesn't know how to hold the ladies accountable when they do very shady and disrespectful things to one another. It's the fact that my sources are saying that it seems as if he just doesn't care to hold them accountable because he doesn't have that much invested in them at this point. And it seems like after about 15 years, almost going on 16, 17 years with certain franchises, it just seems as if Andy has just checked out, which I can understand because he has been doing this for quite some time. But my sources are saying that him seeming to check out of his Housewives universe and his platform is really tarnishing his reputation, and that he should do the right thing and step aside and allow someone else to come in and handle the Housewife reunions, and he just continues to do Watch What Happens Live. Now, the issue with that is Andy has been with the network for so long, and my sources are saying that the network feels that they can only phase Andy out and not get rid of him altogether because they don't understand or don't know if they will have a bigger impact on ratings. And with a lot of the Housewives franchise ratings kind of not hitting their ratings goals, the network, from what my sources are saying, do not want to rock the boat even further. So with that being said, it seems as if everyone knows Andy is appearing to have checked out, but it's kind of hard for them to figure out how to phase him out of the role because he's been there for so long. Now, the other thing that my sources are saying that Andy has working against him in terms of him potentially, saving his job or at least saving his role as the king of the Real Housewives universe is this. My sources are saying that Andy has no real allies within the Housewife universe with OG or veteran housewives. My sources are saying that allegedly a lot of the OGs and a lot of the veterans just really don't see it for Andy. And I guess that's because they have known him the longest. They know him for, his work. They know how he can be your bestie one season and literally throw you away the next season. I think a lot of them have seen him in the ways that he allegedly uses housewives for ratings and then discards him once he feels like they're no longer needed. And so if you're a veteran housewife or OG, you have seen this trick played out so many times to where my sources are saying that allegedly a lot of them just don't trust Andy. And when you have the OGs and the veterans who don't trust Andy, you have a big block. I mean, a huge block of the ladies in a lot of the fans in the Housewife universe who probably won't trust you neither, because the OGs and the veterans have the bigger fan base. So with that being said, Andy really does have that working against him. And that's something, a dynamic that a lot of people behind the scenes feel like he's just not going to be able to overcome, especially seeing after the way that he discarded Nene. It's not really a fear factor there for those OGs and the veterans no more when it comes to Andy, because they feel like, is damn as we do, damn if we don't. Which brings up a very another important aspect of this rumor that my sources were telling me in regards to the newbies on the show. And it's this. My sources are telling me that the newbies across all franchises are somewhat afraid to voice their concerns or their opinions about Andy, because over the last couple of seasons, the newbies have really been getting the short end of the stick. And my sources are telling me that a lot of those newbies just stay quiet and try to play their position until they can become a principal housewife, or until they can move from a friend of the show to an actual housewife of that franchise. And I think that is a big issue, because a lot of the times it is those newbies who don't hold a lot of power but can make a significant dent into the way all the other ladies are being treated. Now, if you are to believe this rumor, because right now it's just alleged information and speculation, if you really do see the way that Andy has been mistreating the ladies, and if you are to believe the rumors that he's been downright disrespectful to a lot of them, both publicly and privately, then you can see how those housewives who are friends of, at the end of the day, they don't really have that much to lose. Because if they've seen time and time again, as a newbie, you can be there today and gone tomorrow. And also, if you became an official housewife, you still see how they treat the official housewives no better than they treat some of the newbies. So if you are a newbie, especially a friend of the show, I do think that their voices can be taken, not as serious, but somewhat serious, as much serious as the veteran housewives and the OGs, when they're speaking out against things they just don't agree with their particular franchise. Now, the next part of this rumor, kinfolk, that I feel very deeply about, and is about Sheree and Porsha and those comments, and it's this. I really feel like it's very disrespectful for Andy to call into question, whether a woman has had work done or not. And I admit there was a time when Real Housewives the cultural shift of 2020 and 2021, to where those types of questions were, salacious and very Wendy Williams, the ex, and a lot of people played into the whole guessing game of whether they had work done or not. But now, after the cultural shift, it seems as if, asking a woman about something as intimate as plastic surgery just seems out of line. Because as we have known since, the past couple of years, that women are traumatized by having to live up to certain beauty standards, especially in the entertainment industry and also in non-entertainment industries. And so women who do choose to have work done on their face, they understand that it's comes from a place, especially if you're in entertainment, of a place of necessity. And oftentimes they want to keep it, something private or publicly, but however they want to do it on their own terms, and not giving a person the opportunity to do it on their own terms. Now, after this culture shift, seems very out of touch. And that's where we keep hearing a lot behind the scenes from sources, that Andy just seems out of touch with the way society is now consuming his housewife franchise in the housewife universe. Also, the fertility issue of allegedly, I think, was asking Porsha about, children and things of that nature. I think, that is something as well that Porsha may want to talk about and reveal on her own time. There have been plenty of rumors to where, that I've gotten about Porsha and, having a child. And I think the way that we should report on it, is allowing Porsha to lead the narrative, and then we just report from behind her narrative. But kinfolk, the last part of this rumor that I do want to touch on about Andy and his time at the network is this. I do feel like a lot of the OG and veteran housewives know that Andy's time is up at the network. I don't know if you all have noticed this, but doing Watch What Happens lives and doing reunions, a lot of the OGs don't really allow Andy to take a pass on a lot of things. And they have tend to call him out very harshly. There have been times where Candace has made just a direct rebuke of some of the questions Andy has asked or some of the things he has said, while still trying to be respectful at the end of the day. And it goes across the board. Erica, Beverly Hills, Teresa, New Jersey. And so we've seen this happen, I think, more and more as we see Andy's tenure at the network reach like a plateau. So with that being said, I do think there are mumblings behind the scenes, especially with the OGs and the veterans who have like that more deep inside connection, that Andy's time at the network may be up. Now, I do agree with the source when they said that, it's going to be very difficult to phase Andy out when or if ever that time comes. But I do think the compromise of having him just host Watch What Happens Live and bringing in a new co-host for the reunions, I think is a good thing or a good compromise or a good route to take. But Kim Folk, I want to know what you guys think. Considering this rumor, do you think the way Andy handled Sheree and Portia last week on Watch What Happens Live, do you think it was respectful or do you think it was disrespectful? And if you think it was disrespectful, do you think Andy should step down as the reunion host and then just also come to terms that he needs to be on the right side of culture? And if so, how should he do it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, Kim Folk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.